Hey y'all, welcome to Cowgirl Collectibles. My name is Angela and I have another unboxing for you guys from Breyer. So last weekend, Breyer was having their fall sale. It's their first fall sale. Last weekend was also when the first day of fall fell on the 22nd. So what was that, Monday? So I picked up a few things. It's not a big haul, but it is a big box. And I just wanted to share with you guys what I received. And I also have a couple of big announcements at the end of this video, so please stay tuned for that. So the first thing I got, this was actually from Amazon. However, I did have this in my Breyer cart. They only had one left, and by the time I checked out, it was already sold out, so I could not purchase it. And it is this book, Album of Horses. Now, I believe the one on the Breyer website was a paperback version. I'm not 100% sure because they do have a couple of hardbacks on Breyer. But when I went to Amazon to see if they they had it in both paperback and hardback. So I got the hardback because I prefer that with books. And this book is gorgeous, you guys. It's Album of Horses by Margaret Henry. She is a very famous horse author, and she writes fiction and semi-fiction books on horses. This is a nonfiction book. There may be some fictional stories in here. I have not read this yet. I've flipped through it. And it's basically like an encyclopedia or a mini encyclopedia of horses. And horse breeds and how some horses got their breed names, characteristics of horses, horse patterns, horse colors. Something that I probably should read now that I am collecting Breyer. But this book is gorgeous, and it makes me kind of want to get the rest of her books in hardcover because they are offered by the publisher. Several of her books. It's got 9 on the back flap here. But it's very vintage looking, very vintage feeling. Like the inside of the cover there is just gorgeous. I love this. I believe this was published in either 1961 or 1951. Let me see if I can find that out really quickly. Well, this one in particular was 1993, but I believe this was a reproduction. 1951. 1951 was when this was originally written and published. And by Aladdin, which is Simon & Schuster, the children's publishing division in New York, New York. So, but this book is just absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend grabbing this, even if you just want something pretty on your shelf, display it with your horses. I think this is great. Very happy to have this. I got it for around $20. I think the sticker price is like $25 MSRP, so you really can't beat that. I really think that the one on Breyer was paperback though because the price was a lot cheaper. Um, but if you catch it on the Breyer website, then you can get it there as well. But they also have it on Amazon. I know some people are staying away from Amazon right now, but I still go to Amazon for most things. I don't really have much choice. Now with Breyers, of course, that's optional, but I do the majority of my shopping online, and sometimes Amazon just has what I need. But let's see what else I got, and this is all from Breyer. It's a pretty big box, but I'm telling y'all, it's not that much. Huge box. And I know that you can pretty much guess what I got based on the title of the video, but I'm still excited to show you guys. I kind of feel like this is something that all Breyer collectors should have in their collection. This box is a bit beat up and it's double taped, so it's giving me a hard time here. I'm trying not to go too deep into the box. I don't want to cut anything. I have no idea what's sitting on top here. Almost everything, I think just about everything I have ordered from Breyer has come UPS. And usually UPS is pretty good, but I don't know if the UPS distribution center where it comes from is just rough on packages or what, but almost all of my boxes, like these outer cartons, are beat up. So I don't know. All right. So now that I've sawed that thing open, we always get our packing paper on top. Excuse me, guys. I'm not really feeling that well today. It's been kind of a rough day. And right on top, we have, oh, how cute. And it's also a lot smaller than I expected too, because I don't know. I always thought their plushes would be a little bit bigger, but this is so, so cute. This is a Chincoteague pony, and it is the Chincoteague pony plush. And I just, oh my gosh, it is so soft. That is a lot softer than I thought it was going to be. It has a leather tag here, like a leather type tag. And then it's got these little paper ribbon tags. And on the inside, it tells you about Chincoteague Pony. The Chincoteague Pony is a feral breed that roams Assateague Island in the states of Virginia and Maryland. Beautiful, tough, and wild, they have learned to survive in a harsh environment without the help of humans. And then it has the eco-friendly tag here to let you know that this is all eco-friendly. So probably made of recycled materials. Or it could just be that the tag's eco-friendly. I don't really know. But how cute. This would be really cute on my shelf. I think it's just darling. I love plushies, and I already have one of the Halloween Hut plushie. I have Webster, and so now I have this one. And I may name this Misty because it reminds me of her. And speaking of Misty, next on the box, out of the box here is the Misty and Stormy set. Now, I kind of feel like you can't be a Breyer collector without these horses. At least a few Chincoteague horses in your collection. Um, if you've never heard of Misty, she was Margaret Henry's muse most of her life as an author. And almost all of her horse books have drawn some inspiration from Misty. If you're not even sure what a Chincoteague pony is, I highly recommend that you watch the Misty movie, first of all, if you've never seen it. I have watched it a couple of times, and I rewatched it last week after I placed this order, just so I can get brushed up on some nostalgia. I watched it as a kid, I know, and I've watched it. It's an old movie. I watched it a few years back when I had seen that it was still on. I hadn't seen that movie in a long time. But I remember watching it with my grandmother at her house, and it was very nostalgic to watch it again last weekend. But basically, the Chincoteague ponies are not ponies that live on Chincoteague Island. They live on Assateague Island, and they are said to have been um, like they came from uh, Spanish horses that were stranded out there after a shipwreck from the 1800s, and they just made a herd out in Assateague Island. Descendants was the word I was looking for. So they were the descendants of these Spanish horses, and they made their way to this island from the shipwreck and became a wild herd. Um, and after some time went on, people of Chincoteague Island, which is nearby, um, were starting to grow and get bigger, and they had created their first fire department. And the fire department really needed some updated fire trucks and things of that nature to help protect and serve their community. It was hard to fight fires with the equipment that they had, so they had to figure out a way to raise money for the fire department. I don't think they were called the fire department. It may be on the back of one of these boxes what they were called. And we're going to open everything. This might be a little long of a video. That's fine. I just feel like being chatty. So what they decided to do was they had this herd of horses across the way, and they were growing and growing and growing and growing, almost out of control. Nobody lived on Assateague Island except for these wild ponies and maybe a few other things like wildlife related. So what they decided to do was to do what's called pony pinning, and they would get what's called the saltwater cowboys, which are really like firemen that work in the fire department, and they would round up the wild ponies from Assateague Island, and they would have them swim across the channel to Chincoteague Island, where all the people lived, and they would auction off the foals and yearlings from the herd to raise money. And back then, according to the movie, they were all sold for around $100. And they would raise enough money to get more modern equipment to help fight fires and help serve their communities. And then they would swim the ponies back to Assateague Island once they were done with their auction, so that they can continue to live their days out there and create new babies. Um, After so long, whoever bought these auctioned horses, I think they would be able to keep them on contract for around 5 to 6 years. And then once they reached a certain age, they would be released back into the herd to help with the population and get a mix of the population. Well, Misty and Stormy were real horses that lived on Assateague Island, and Margaret Henry actually bought Misty, and she foaled 3 foals, and Stormy is her youngest. She did have 2 other foals, but unfortunately they passed away. From what I understand, they broke into some cow feed in a barn and ate the cow feed, and it gave them colic, and they sadly passed away. So that left Misty with just the one foal, Stormy. And Stormy was also bred and had foals. So Misty has a lineage of horses. Some are still in Assateague, not necessarily their direct lineage, but they do have a line of horses that are directly linked to Misty and Stormy. So that is that is some history. I don't know exactly how accurate I was in telling that or retelling that, but that's my understanding of it. And it's wildly popular with people who love horses. A lot of people know about the Misty and Stormy and the Chincoteague Ponies. Now, I've always known about the Chincoteague Ponies because of the Misty movie. And a friend of mine, she likes to share videos of the penny ponying every summer because it happens, I think, every July. So we kind of geek out over that. And it's really an interesting thing. They still do it to this day. Every July, they'll have the pony pinning day where they swim the horses across the channel. And it's not necessarily for the fire department anymore. They do it for a number of charities, and the yearlings and the foals are still being sold and auctioned, but now it's for thousands of dollars, not just 100. So that has gone up in price. People save their money all year round to go to the pony pinning in hopes of getting a Chincoteague pony, and they're not able to keep them usually all their life. They have to give them back after a certain set of years so that they can be rebred and repopulate the so that the herd, remains. You can't keep selling and buying horses from the herd if you're not replenishing the herd. But it helps keep the herd from overpopulating the island, and keeps it nice and regulated. And also it helps raise money for good causes. And it's exciting for the community. It brings a lot of people to the area for tourism. They have a museum. They even have Misty and Stormy taxidermied there in the museum, which is quite interesting. I know that was big and popular back in the day. My dad's really big into taxidermy too. Some people might think that's kind of creepy these days, but that is what they have in the museum, and a lot of people flock there every July to watch. But I finally have Misty and Stormy, and also the book comes with the set. So in this box, you can see behind them is the original book by Margaret Henry, um, and I think it's called Misty of Chincoteague. Yes, and that is what the movie was based off of, was this book. So I'm going to read the back of the box, then we're going to open them up, and then we'll see what I have next in the Breyer Hall. Misty and her foal, Stormy, are united in this best-selling Breyer gift set, complete with Margaret Henry's Newbery Award-winning book. Winner of the Dr. Toy Best Classic Toys Award, Breyer's Misty and Stormy set makes a perfect gift, inspiring hours of imaginative play. In 1946, author Margaret Henry had the opportunity to witness the annual July pony pinning and adoption of the wild Assateague Island ponies in Virginia. Each year, saltwater cowboys round up the ponies and swim them a quarter-mile across the channel. After their much-anticipated arrival on Chincoteague Island, some ponies are auctioned off to good homes. A humane method of maintaining the wild herd in order to preserve the island's resources, the auction also raises money to support the local fire department, established in 1924 after two fires nearly destroyed the island. During her trip, Henry befriended the Beebe family, owners of Misty, a Palomino and white Chincoteague Pinto filly. Now, the Beebe family, and it might say it here, the Beebe family is in the movie. I don't think it's the actual Beebes, but they are portrayed in the movie. The grandparents and their two grandchildren, and the grandchildren are orphaned and live with their grandparents on Chincoteague Island. Um, but in real life, she met the Beebes, and they owned Misty at the time. In the movie, Misty was auctioned and bought by the orphan children. They raised enough money to buy Misty. They were trying to buy Misty's mother. Her name was Phantom. But Phantom ended up having a foal, and they were wanting to get both instead of just one, but they only had raised enough money for one. But when towards the end of the movie, and I hope I'm not giving this away, so if you haven't seen the movie, I'm so sorry, spoiler alert. Um, Phantom was in love with her. She was partnered with a stallion, and she was always by his side. So when he went back to Assateague Island after the auction, she followed right along with him and left her foal behind, which was Misty. So the Beebe children were able to buy Misty. And there's a lot more that goes along with that, like somebody else almost bought him. So I'm not trying to give this whole story away. If you haven't read the book, if you haven't read the movie, watch the movie. I highly recommend. It might be a little slow at first. It is an old movie, so please keep that in mind. Um, but it's a great story. It's very heartwarming. If you love horses, or if you really want to learn more about the Chincoteague ponies, I highly recommend it. It's a great movie. So, the Beebe family and their ponies that became the central characters of Miss Henry's series of books, starting with Misty of Chincoteague. Misty and her mother, the Phantom, fulfill the Beebe grandchildren's dreams of a foal to raise, in turn teaching them about love, hard work, and responsibility. Since the publication of Misty of Chincoteague in 1947, Misty has become one of the most beloved equines in children's literature. Henry's novel weaves historical fact and creative imagination into a story about the origin of the breed and an exciting tale about children's love for horses. Based on a true story, of course, there is some fiction weaved into it, so that's why I call it semi-fiction, because it's really based on a true story, but she may have changed a few elements to make it, a good story. But anyway, here's the back of the box. I believe that's an actual photograph of Misty and Stormy right there. And then the book is right there in the middle. I hope you can see. And here's a close up This flap was not taped down. Of Misty and Stormy here. And there's a big sticker that says, Happy Birthday, Misty, 75 years, 1946 to 2021. So this must be when the set was released, was in 2021. It says this flap is already open. I didn't have to cut into it. Let's go ahead and open them up. I just find their story pretty interesting. Um, they actually sell Breyers, and I'm sure it's mostly Misty and Stormy sets at the museum. But the book slides right on out. So here's the book. And it does have the stamp from the Newbery Honor book, for the Newbery Honor. Um, this is my third Margaret Henry book. On the back it says, Nobody could capture the Phantom. She was the wildest mare on Assateague Island. They said she was like the wind, and the white map on her shoulders was her mark of freedom. Paul and Maureen Beebe had their hearts set on owning her. They were itching to buy and tame her and worked hard to earn the money she would cost. But the roundup men had tried to capture her, and for 2 years she had escaped them. Pony Penning Day holds a surprise for everyone, for Paul not only brings in the Phantom, but her newborn colt as well. Can Paul and Maureen possibly earn enough to buy them both? Which is interesting that it says newborn colt, because Misty was not a colt, she was a filly. Misty was a girl horse. I don't know why it says Phantom had a newborn colt, but I'm sure that was just a very, minor misprint of wording there. But here they are outside of their packaging, or outside of the carton. They're really pretty. They've changed, according to what I've seen online. They've changed a little bit of the shading, and the colors are a little different than they used to be. This is one of their oldest sets they've ever had. And so vintage collectors seem to be a little picky about their Misty and Stormy sets, but since this is my first one, I'm not too terribly picky. I think they're extremely cute, and they do have a lot of texture on them, which is very accurate to the type of ponies that they are, because they are kind of shaggy ponies. Um, and I just like them a lot. I'm really happy to have them. Finally, I have been, of course, eyeballing them forever. But I just wanted to wait because I had other things that I had prioritized that I wanted to get. Um, so I knew they would always have Misty and Stormy, to be honest. So it wasn't like it was high up on my list to get right away. But I knew that other horses could potentially sell out first that I was wanting. And as a new collector, you never sometimes know how, because I come from the dog collecting world and I come from Pokemon collecting. And sometimes when special releases and limited releases are released, they sell out immediately. Um, in Breyer, you never really know what's going to sell out and what's going to stay. And so you either risk it for the biscuit or you don't. It just depends on, I guess, the climate. I don't know. Um, so let me get these ponies out of their box and set them free. I already have a shelf cleaned off for my Chincoteagues, and I may add to them later. Breyer has made several Chincoteague ponies over the years. A lot of Misty's family. Some are very hard to find, such as one or two of Misty's foals that sadly perished. They made models of, I think, at least one of them, but maybe both of them. I'm not 100% sure. I think I got them all. Let's see if I can pull them out. Yeah, they are getting loose and coming out. All right, so Misty is free. So here is Misty. I don't know if you can hear my cat crying in the background. My husband let her in the house. She's an indoor-outdoor cat, and she is my baby. But whenever I'm filming, I prefer for her to be outside because she will be all up in my face, and I won't be able to get anything said or done. She's a very sweetheart. She's a very sweet cat. She is a tortoise hair, and she's 7 years old, and she is my child. But if I'm up here filming and talking, 'cause she does this to me when I'm at work, she will be in my face the entire time, and I just can't. I can't film with her like that. She won't just be up here chilling. She won't just be walking around in the background. She will be in my face, on my shoulder, trying to get my attention. But yes, here is Misty. And here's her offside. Now, interestingly enough, they say that she has a pattern of the United States on her, and I'm assuming they mean this patch of white on her. It can somewhat resemble. I don't know if this model is going to be very accurate. I've looked at some pictures of Misty, and I've already tossed it to the side. Um, and it's hard for me to tell. And on her other side, there's like they're saying that she has the outline of the state of Virginia. I do not see that on Misty. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but um, I guess if you look hard enough, you can make that look like in your head, like yeah, that's the United States of America, kind of, sort of, maybe. And the other side to me looks more like Africa, but I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and judge. It's whatever people want it to be. She was a very famous horse, and a lot of people really just wanted her to be the face of America. Back in those days, I believe, like she was the American horse. She was very famous, so I can imagine that that was a very prideful thing of the people there, that they had this horse that had the outline of the United States. Like she was a symbol of hope for a lot of people there. And I personally, despite I'm not going to get into politics, y'all. I'm not going to do it. But just despite the climate of the country right now, I'm a patriot, and I love patriotic things. And I grew up in the Air Force as an Air Force brat. My dad was in the Air Force for 24 years, retired Master Sergeant, and so I have a huge amount of respect for our country and for our history and all that sort of thing. But I also can find humor in things like Misty having the pattern. If you look hard enough, the pattern of the United States on the side of her coat. I don't really see it very well, but whatever you say. I know that she was Margaret Henry's pride and joy. She actually even brought her in the house. She was indoors quite a bit. Um, which I find interesting. All right, and here is Stormy, the little foal baby, and her long legs. She's got such a sweet face. And they do have, the little odd body shape, um, compared to maybe um, like a thoroughbred or something. They're stout, kind of um, chubby, and I mean, they're not fat, but they're very thick-coated ponies, and they live in marshlands. They live on an island, so they're surrounded by water, salt water, seawater. So their body mass is a little different than other types of horses. They live pretty much in the wild, even though they're not. there's no such thing as wild horses. All horses are domesticated, but they're feral. And yeah, I am so happy to have this horse set, and they have live all their days on in my collection. And I know that some of y'all probably already have this set, or even a more vintage set, an older set than I do. But like I said, I just kind of feel like you cannot be a Breyer collector without having at least Misty in your collection. Misty and Stormy just kind of go together. But Chincoteague is kind of, you know, something that most Breyer collectors have a few Chincoteagues in their collection. It's just almost a standard for the collectors. So next, you guys, I know you probably already guessed. I got what a beat up box. Surfer's Riptide. I got him, you guys, and this is also based off of a real horse from Assateague. He's a Chincoteague pony, and I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube, and so I've watched some TikTok videos, some shorts, and he is alive and well, still running things. I will go ahead and tell his story really quick. Surfer's Riptide. There may be no place more magical for horse lovers than Chincoteague Island, Virginia. Made famous by Margaret Henry's classic tale, Misty of Chincoteague, the island becomes a major destination for horse lovers each July when the feral ponies living on the Virginia side of Assateague Island are rounded up by local saltwater cowboys. They are swum to Chincoteague Island for the Chincoteague swum. That threw me off. I would say I would have thought swam, but I guess swum. The Chincoteague Island for the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company's full auction. So that's what it's called. That's the official name of the fire department, is the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company. The auction raises funds for the CVFC, who owns and cares for the herd while ensuring that the herd stays at a healthy size. Foaled in 2009, Surfer's Riptide is a flaxen chestnut stallion with flashy white markings, just like his late sire, Surfer Dude. So Surfer Dude is his daddy. Riptide was a buyback foal, meaning he was auctioned with a stipulation that he was to be donated back. So he was bought and then given back. He was returned to Assateague to live out his life. He's since sired many foals, including a few that can be traced back to Misty. So he may not be directly related to Misty, but his foals may be directly related to Misty. The year 2025 marks the 100th anniversary of the pony swimming auction, and I did get a chance back in July to watch the pony pinning on Facebook. I don't think it was live, but there was a video, and I also watched a YouTube video of the pony pinning auction this past year, and it was a big, huge celebration because it was the 100th year. A portion of the proceeds of the sale of this model go to support the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company and the Museum of Chincoteague. So if you buy Surfer's Riptide, just know that you are supporting the Chincoteagues out there in Virginia, the fire department, and the museum. It's a pretty cool thing, you guys. So here is a picture of him in real life. He is gorgeous, and he is also so spunky and full of energy and full of life in all of his videos that I've ever seen him in. Um, he's just he's just full of life, boy. He runs things out there. And then here is also a portrait of him here. And even though he looks rotund and like he's fat and has a big belly, that's how they all look. They all just have like a more stout appearance. They're short, they're ponies. So they're not very long, elongated like you would think of like Atlanta. For example, I think Atlanta's a thoroughbred. And she is made to race, whereas these are really just made to be wild and breed. Like that is pretty much what they do. They eat and breed. And Some lucky people get to keep them for, a short while, and all the money goes back to them. So let's go ahead and take him out of his box and see him in real life, out of his box and get him free. And he will be living with Stormy and Misty on the shelf. And in my mind, I was thinking, oh, they could be one big happy family. But I think he would be like Uncle Riptide, rather than Misty's like companion, like male companion. Because Misty is probably like a great grandmother or even more to one of his foals. So it's kind of weird. So we'll just call him Uncle Riptide if you want to call him anything. He is a gorgeous model though. And of course he's regular run. These are all regular runs. You can get these pretty much at any time. There's no limit on them. They haven't retired Surfer's Riptide, and I don't think they are going to anytime soon. He is pretty popular. This is what he looks like outside of his plastic carton. He's a pretty cool looking dude. I like him a lot. Alright, so let's go ahead and break him open. And just to let y'all know, he is the last thing I ordered. So I don't have anything else in this box. This box is empty. So it was just those three things. I've had a lot to say about it. They have a lot of history here in the United States and in Virginia and Maryland. It's a big deal. And people from all over, especially the East Coast and even the South. Well, I would say all over the country, really, will go to visit these horses. My family's Appalachian, whatever you want to call it, on my daddy's side, from North Alabama. And they loved horses. My grandparents on my dad's side had a farm and loved horses. And I remember talking about the Chincoteague Ponies with my grandma. And I actually have a great aunt named Virginia, and their last name is Teague. I hope I didn't just compromise anything, but yeah. Y'all don't go looking for my great aunt on social media, you guys. She's an old lady. Please leave her alone. But they used to joke around that she was named after Chickadee. So, yes. He is free and will be a shelf model. He does have a brand on his off side. Does have a couple of red of shine marks on him, but that's okay. I don't really have any problem with shines. I would probably be upset about scratches, shine marks. That's just, I think, something that you can kind of live with. It's not terrible. It's just a couple right there that's very small. But yeah, this is his offside, and he has a little brand on his bum there. And this is his good side. So I got a couple of books. I got 3 models, and I got a plushie. And this is the plushie, and this is Misty. And I kind of feel like this is Misty in plush form, whether they were trying to or not. That's just the way I look at it. And Misty has a really cute face. I don't know if I showed it to you, but it's almost like a paint. I know she's a pinto, but anytime I see a white face on a horse, I just like, oh, that looks like a paint horse to me. But what do I know? So, as promised, I have a couple of big announcements. I'll get the biggest one out of the way first. I am having major surgery on October the 10th for a health situation, condition I've been dealing with for most of the year. I'm not going to go into too much specific details. Just know that I'm having major surgery. I have been planning this for months. My job has been planning this for months. My family has been planning this for months. And I will be out of commission for a couple of months, meaning that I will be on paid medical leave for 8 straight weeks to heal and recover from surgery. I have no idea what that's going to mean for my channel. However, I could still very well continue to purchase ponies and Breyer and continue to upload videos from my bed and be okay. I really don't know um, how it's going to work financially yet, even though it's paid medical leave. I don't really know how it's going to affect anything. Everything's been approved. It's been approved for weeks and weeks. So that's not the issue. My husband will be staying home with me. Mike will be staying home with me for 2 weeks after surgery. So I will have somebody to help me for a couple of weeks in case I need help. Um, but it's a big, big deal. We don't know how it's going to affect the channel um, as of now. So if I have any updates after surgery, I will definitely let you know, at least in a post, to let you know if I'm going to be able to upload anything or purchase anything. But hopefully there won't be any big interruptions. I might miss a sale or two. Just depends on things. Um, we'll see. We also have to see how surgery goes. You know, pray that it all goes well if you can. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Those are always appreciated no matter what. Um, Positive thoughts, I don't discriminate. Let's see. Also, buyer related news. So, this week they announced their Collector Club Appreciation event. I placed that order yesterday. So we're going to see that when it comes in. I bought several models, so it's a pretty big order. And then today's Thursday, the 25th, by the way, of September. They announced that tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which is my time zone, they will be releasing Urion, finally. However, I just placed a huge order yesterday, not thinking they were going to release Urion the very next day after I bought everything that I bought. But if he is less than $100, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I'll go ahead and place my order. He is not a lot on lottery. He is a special web run for Collector Club members only. I am planning on buying him. Um, my hope is that he's less than $100, and I'll just go ahead and buy him tomorrow. Um, he is buy him till he lasts, basically. First come, first serve. So I don't know when he'll sell out, but I'm sure he will. We don't have any information on him yet. We don't know how many there are made. We don't know how much he is. We only know what he looks like and when he's going to be released. And he is going to be available at 1 p.m. tomorrow Eastern, and he is first come, first serve. That is all we know. Most people think it's going to be around $80, $85 from what I've seen on Facebook. That I can do. If he's $150, he might be waiting until next week if he's still available. But my hope is that he's not that much. Only because I placed that big order yesterday, and I also, had to pay my bills this week and take care of my children this week and make sure that my husband's taken care of. We have a few plans this weekend. Oh yeah, Aria, my granddaughter, her birthday gifts have arrived. I ordered her a nice big stable set from Schleich and some barn farm animals and a couple of other goodies from Schleich. And I posted that on my Instagram. So if you want to see what I got her, I didn't open any of the boxes. I'm planning on wrapping them, but I did take them out of cartons and took a picture and posted on Instagram. So if y'all are interested in seeing what I got my granddaughter, my grandbaby, who's turning 3, for her birthday, be sure to see that there. I've also got all of my other photos up. I am not the best at taking photos. I am not Instagram worthy. I'm not very good at doing videos either, but here I am. I'm still doing it. I'm just not. I work full time. I do my best. I just want to share my love for Breyer. And then we have some plans this weekend. So she's going to be here this weekend with us, and me and my youngest daughter, my teenage daughter, is going to be taking her out on the town for just a fun day on Saturday. My husband's going to be hanging out with a couple of his buddies from work on Sunday and going to see the new Demon Slayer movie. So if y'all are anime fans, I just know that my husband is going to be seeing Demon Slayer and telling us all about it. I am a big fan of Demon Slayer myself, but because we're going to be having my grandbaby this weekend, and she's just too young to go see probably any movie in the theater. Now, if it was going to be, because she's obsessed with it, she loves K-pop Demon Hunters, and her birthday party is K-pop Demon Hunter themed. If I can get it out. But we're going to take her shopping. I'm going to probably pick up a couple things for her bedroom. Um, I saw an ad at our comic book store that they have some posters available for K-pop Demon Hunters, so I'm going to let her pick out a poster for her room. I'm going to take her to the little toy store. These are all local places. There's a toy store. There's a local pizza place I want to take her to for dinner. We're going to go hit up the local music store. They sell vinyl records. My daughter wants to pick up Billie Eilish, so we're going to do that. So we have a big weekend planned this weekend, which is another reason why I don't want to spend a bajillion dollars on another model. I'm hoping that Urian is going to be somewhat affordable, under $100 I can do, and it won't be an issue. But I want to take my girls out this weekend and show them a good time and have a great day out, um, because we haven't gone out in a while. And yeah, that's my video, you guys. That's my haul. I have Misty now. I have Stormy now. I love this soft, sweet plush. And I have Surfer's Riptide. So I'm very, very excited. Sorry, she got something in her hair, which I got out now. And then my Chincoteagues. I finally got them. And I will probably over time add to my Chincoteague collection. And just be looking for a couple of new videos coming up. I know this is a very long video. I've been really chatty. It's been as usual. It's been a long week, long day, and it's just nice to sit down with you guys and talk about ponies. And let me know down in the comments. Do you have Misty and Stormy? Do you have Surfer's Riptide? What other Chincoteague ponies do you have? I know there's lots out there, and I know that this is just what they had on the website. I know there's plenty on eBay, but boy, oh boy, I was looking and going down that rabbit hole, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna have to add, like, over time. I can't do it all at once. There's just too much coming out right now. So let me know what you guys think. Let me guys know what you have, and is there any themes that you're hoping to see on my channel in the future? I'm not running out of ideas, but maybe there's something that you're hoping you'll see me get, or that you could recommend for me to start collecting. As you can see, I have not started collecting a specific model, um, like I haven't congoed anything yet. I don't have a specific model mold that I collect, at least not yet. who knows what the future holds, but I do like having these little themed hauls with my collection. It just kind of keeps it all nice and separated on my shelves. But that could change as I run out of room. I'm already going to have to start planning on buying some new shelves for my walls and probably some shelving units for my living room. For my nicer models, the more expensive models, I've already talked to my husband. We're trying to redecorate some. I have got to get, we're getting a new bedroom suit soon, so that's why I have this old bedding on my bed because I don't have any nicer bedding that fits this bed. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of things happening all around. But I'm kind of scatterbrained as well. I still have school work to do, all that good stuff. So this video is almost an hour long, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Thank y'all so much for sticking with me and watching my videos. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you like these type of videos, Breyer unboxings, talking about Breyer, toys in general, things of that nature, or you just enjoy watching me, consider subscribing. My husband joins me every once in a while, and those tend to be my most popular videos. So go back and watch those with me and my husband. It's really nice. The Halloween one and the 75th anniversary one are my two most popular videos at the moment, along with my unboxing of Aikidos. So if you haven't watched those, go back and watch those. And yeah, please comment and let me know what you think. I love hearing what you guys have to say. I read all of your comments and I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I feel like I'm building a little friendly community here on YouTube and I just appreciate you all so much. And I wear crazy t-shirts and so does my husband. I know I got a couple of comments about that. So if you want to just watch to see what I'm wearing in a particular video, definitely like every day I'm wearing something kind of novel and crazy. Um, but yeah, we really appreciate you all. It's just nice to know that there's people out there that um are willing to sit through my videos and hear me ramble on about plastic horses. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this video. It has a great night, and please take care of yourselves and take care of each other. The world is already a crazy place, so let's just bring it back and do something for ourselves and have some fun. Thank you. Bye.